Yes.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of the Hessian Scrum. Joining us today is Mike Stevens of the very well esteemed Timeghoul and Grevlar. Thank you very much for joining us today, Mike.
No problem.
So, so for those who don't know, you released a legendary demo in terms of death metal in '92. Tumultuous Travelings, right?
Yes.
And it's quite funny. So, for a long time, that demo was kind of forgotten. And now we have, very young kids, well, not young-ish, 18, 20, 25, whatever, who have literally like based their entire musical taste around Time Ghoul. And we've seen a huge explosion in popularity with Time Ghoul. Could you tell us like how you feel about that and everything?
Well, it's really surprised me, it's been, I don't even remember how many years, 20 years ago, when we first realized that the demo had went all over the world on the internet. And we were just we really were a bunch of nerds, man. We played D&D and stuff. And I met Jeff in the chewing lounge and at high school, chewing tobacco. If you don't know what that is, skull, disgusting. I quit a long time ago. But anyway, that's how we met each other, man. We were just kind of weirdos, and we liked some heavy music, Metallica, Venom, all that early thrash. Death metal wasn't even really around in the, till late 80s, whatever. And I played guitar and we got together, we started making music, and I was just surprised, we nobody, we had a few fans, but we weren't really that popular when we were playing out as much as some of the other local bands. Sounded more like Metallica. We were just the weirdos. What are they doing? What are
Mm.
these guys? You know, what is this?
Yeah.
But it was a big surprise. It was a big surprise when we got people started liking us. We got popular. It was really strange.
Yeah. Because you know, your first demo came out during a time where death metal was already starting to get established, and there were already a lot of copycat bands by '92. But somehow, what you do sounds so original and weird. Even for a genre that has like a lot of weird popular bands.
Well, like I said, it took us. I mean, we started playing in '87 together, maybe '88. I don't know. Somewhere around. Me and Jeff have been making music way before we found a full band. We couldn't find anybody. We go jam with somebody. Can you play Slayer? We're like, no, we play our own music. Can you play Metallica? No, no, man, we play our own music. We don't play covers. So everybody kind of looked at us like we were strange, whatever. So we finally found the right members, but it was after we had almost probably most of the first demo already made guitar wise. Me and Jeff just jamming in the basement trying to find members. So we started kind of early. I remember um, just a lot of music. There's thrash, early death metal. But when we came out, we had been making music a long time before that, so our sound was based on a lot of stuff that wasn't death metal. Like orchestra music, like Mussorgsky's music, and some of the other guys. We tried to not really be classical, so to speak, but have that one guitar doing one thing and the other guitar doing a melody kind of thing. And then the vocals, of course, we wanted to experiment a little bit more with some of the weirder type of vocals.
Yeah, because there are some pretty weird parts, especially vocally. I'm thinking the Siege that has this kind of really soft chorus like halfway through.
Yeah, Jeff, he's not really he's not on the internet much. He's kind of a hermit, which is he said he always wanted to be, but he really liked he was into harmonies and vocals, and he actually liked, and I kind of like them too. I still kind of like them. King's X is not, they're not death metal, but they have a lot of vocal melodies in their music, and he was into that stuff.
Mm.
And of course, we're not going to sound like King's X in a death metal band, but he wanted to incorporate some of those vocals and some of those where you sing with each other, harmony type things. He tried to get me to do it, and I couldn't sing, man. I still can't sing really. So I couldn't do it and play guitar. That's just a talent that I didn't have. So we couldn't pull it off live very well.
Mm. And we see there's a huge importance given to storytelling in your music. Like we can tell that like you guys are living the lyrics, with the guitars, the drums and everything.
Exactly. That was kind of similar to what a classical piece would do. You wouldn't even have lyrics, but you could feel the story. And like and Timeghoul did that. I kind of try to do that with Grevlar, but it's not quite as Timeghoul's definitely got that. There's an error there that I don't even think we could repeat, honestly. It was just a time, kind of funny. It was a time that was just there, man. It was just weird. But yeah, our music flowed, and the way the doom parts came and the different parts, they all told a story themselves without the lyrics. Honestly, they could be, what I'm saying, you could listen to Time Go without the lyrics. You could feel different movements.
Yeah, yeah. What's really interesting is that um, you know, there are times on, especially on the first demo, where you stick to the kind of basic, bread and butter death metal riffs, and you just
Mm-hmm.
kind of do these little things that make it a bit weird, a bit stand out. Like, maybe instead of repeating the riff the same way, there's a slightly, play it slightly differently and everything.
Yeah, we would progress into different sections. There really wasn't. I mean, a few songs have a chorus, like Infinity Coda has a chorus. Gutspawn probably has repeating riffs, but in between there, they're more like movements of different parts. It's a type of songwriting. And somebody made a word up for it. We didn't know the word. You know what I'm saying? We just made music. We didn't have any terms to call it, but anyway, that's just the way we wrote. That's what we like to do. We just progressed our song out throughout the song, and then sometimes we would come back to a chorus, but it's a story. It's telling a story, so the story is not the same all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I change looking away from the phone. Sorry.
But yeah, but even the lyrics themselves are really interesting because they're all just full of these like weird kind of bizarre stories, like gut spawn about a king, like a stomach king or something and all that.
Okay, let me tell you a story about that one. That was a D&D. That was a Jeff took us through a dungeon. He was the dungeon master, and that was his dungeon. That was the story that we went through. We had to fight that beat as playing Dungeons and Dragons, the fantasy game.
Yeah.
It wasn't no video game. It was a game where you sit down and everybody knows what D&D is. But yeah, we played that, I believe, at some point. I don't know if we ever finished it, but that was a dungeon he made, and that was, yeah, our story. Most of our lyrics were based on fantasy or some science fiction, or there's a little bit of Infinity Coda has got to do with infinity and stuff. The Siege was actually called Fever of Grief at one point, but he called it. I think the title The Siege is better because it kind of makes you wonder. It could be about a castle, or it could be about somebody going insane. Which what I'm saying, it's basically what it's about. Somebody going crazy.
Mm. But it's interesting because you said Gutspawn was made from a D&D campaign that you guys made up. Like, um, when was it? Were you guys really trying to figure out, your own fantasy universe, or were you just kind of like expressing your influences?
Well, me and Jeff, we were just different, and I really loved the music at the time, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of stuff I wasn't into the Satan and all that crap. I still ain't. I'm not going to get into that too much, but I'm just letting you know. I didn't like it, so I'm like, let's do something different, man. Let's sing about fantasy. Why? We don't have to get into politics. We don't have to get into religion. Let's get into something like that. And he was really into that stuff. He was reading Conan books, and we both liked movies, and he wrote most of the lyrics. Jeff did, but I could tell you he was into fantasy and stuff. We wasn't into you know bashing anybody's religion or anything like that. We were just into the music and into the science fiction, and it was a good fit. The lyrics, stories, the music, it all fit together. You know.
Yeah, no, I can tell through the kind of whole universe, it's like you guys really don't make the distinction between science fiction and like, medieval fantasy. Like there seems to be a kind of like weird mixture of both.
Yeah, I mean, it might mostly be fantasy. I don't. That's just a term, science fiction. That's a sci-fi death metal term. If you think about it, we do. It's more probably just fantasy-based music. Honestly, the lyrics stuff. Think about it. There might be a little bit of science fiction in there, but it's just fantasy, just storytelling, like telling a story. It could be a story about anything. It could be a story about, I don't know, a guy with a sword going and defeating a monster. That's kind of the way I'm still doing with Grevlar. That's kind of stories that I tell mostly is them kind of stories,
Yeah.
fantasy stories.
Because for those who don't know, you kind of continued along that universe with Grevlar, but there seems to be like a really big scope to what you do in terms like it's planetary sufferance, and it's all this stuff about galaxies and planet and universes and all that.
Yeah, I personally was interested in that stuff, and I threw that in there, and I come up with some try to come up with some interesting lyrics. Like one song's like a long story; it's like 30-minute long song. I don't know if anybody's ever took the time to listen to it, but that's all good. It's all fun for me, and I enjoy it. And I'm not looking to be a rock star. You know what I mean? We never were. We were just being goofy. I could tell you another funny story. We opened up for a band called Nuclear Assault, and it was funny because that was a different style. That was more thrash. And I think one person was standing in front of the stage watching us play. They weren't into us, man. It was like, whoa, what is this stuff? Anyway, funny side note.
I mean, that'd be quite an interesting gig, just you guys playing your stuff and then hearing "Hang the Pope, hang the Pope, hang the Pope."
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's funny because you came back into music much later with Grevlar, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, I did. Let me see. How am I going to tell this story? Well, life hits you in different ways, and I come to a point where I realized that um, I needed to play music again because it made me feel good, and I think I didn't have any major issues, but I was going down a road. It wasn't great. So hearing Timeghoul and everybody was into that stuff, I got me thinking, why don't I pick up my guitar again? I never really stopped playing. I'd fiddle with these people, fiddle with this band, played around. I even tried to be in a cover band for a minute, which was ridiculously stupid. I couldn't do that. I felt like a total loser. So anyway, I had a band called Giggle Fit for a minute. We played shows. We were goofy as hell. It wasn't death metal. It was just a bunch of old guys acting stupid that worked in the factory together. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And but it was original. But we never really put out anything. So I got back into music because it made me feel good. Honestly, it's for me. All the music I make is for me. If I had one fan, it would be great. I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? I'm enjoying making it.
Because musically, like there is definitely a continuity between tumultuous travelings and the phosphorescent orbs, right? From then on. But it seems like with Grevlar, it's a lot more atmospheric, a lot more crushing, suffocating.
It could be. I don't know why that is. I mean, it's just me. It's mainly me writing the music. I did have a few people, like I had Garrett from Void Ceremony sing on one album, and I had a guest solo by guitarist for Cryptic Shift on the same album. Paris, well, I'm losing my words, but anyway, I've had guest people on some of the albums just for fun, but none of them have been produced really as well as I would like, honestly. So the next Grevlar hopefully has got a little bit better production, but it's mainly me on the next one. But it's just me having fun, really. I'm not trying to break any barriers.
You know,
You know?
because, it's impressive wait, because of Phosphorescent Orbs came out in 2018, right? So you've been away from death metal for almost 30 years at that point.
Yeah, I don't remind me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, it was just a hobby. It always was. So when I left Timeghoul, we had worked on some of the other songs that were on the second demo, but I didn't actually play on that one technically. He replaced me with two guitars. I guess I was so good he had to find two guitar players to replace me. No, that's not true. He wanted that three guitar sound. I'm being stupid. He wanted that three guitar sound, so he got two other guys to play. I had wrote some of the riffs, but as far as the three guitar harmonies, I really didn't have much to do. That was Jeff's brain composing that stuff. But a lot of the other riffs, you can hear me in there doing my little octave chords and all that little stuff I used to do in the first one. But anyway, they progressed on, and then they end up not playing. It's just life. I think life just catches up with you. You know, we weren't making lots of money or anything like that. We hadn't had a CD released or anything like that. So everybody's life just kind of went different ways, get married, have kids, you know, that kind of
Mm. Because it's funny on a panoramic twilight, right? A lot of the kind of death metal gets toned back, and it becomes a lot more, epic and kind of like Wagnerian in scope, like operatic. Right.
Yeah, he got into his vocals more. He got into the harmony with his vocals. Like I said, he got into the three guitar part harmonies, which was something that he composed, so to speak. He composed that stuff on a piano, actually. So that was more in him, was more Jeff, and I was kind of pushed to the wayside, which might be another reason why I left the band. Not that it was a big deal, I just had other things going on. But I kind of missed the earlier way we made music, where we were improvising, where he was making up a riff, I was coming up a riff, we were putting it all together, and then I was improvising behind his riffs. That kind of that was more what I was into at the time. But I totally understand where he was going. It was a good place. I wish he would have continued, honestly, because I think it would have been one of the most interesting things that ever come out, honestly. Because he was on a road to something really great. It's unfortunate. I don't know why he stopped. I did, I really don't know why he stopped. Anyway.
Yeah. So, it would be safe to say that you brought a lot of the heaviness to the riffs because, the first demo is quite a bit heavier than the second one and everything. And then what we hear with Grevlar.
Yeah, some people think so. Some people don't like the newer one. So I don't know. I agree with you. And I can tell you from playing it, because I just tried to learn. I'm trying. I'm not doing, the vocals are very difficult for me to do on the Gut Spawn. Jeff definitely was king vocalist there. I don't know how he did it, but and play at the same time that song. But anyway, I redid the guitar, and it wasn't easy, man. The way we played was weird. I don't even play that way anymore as much. But it's not technical in this sense, but it's very aggressive, very fast. I mean, it's like I don't know what we were just insane, I guess. But it's kind of nutty, man. It ain't easy to play it. I know some bands did a cover of Siege, and they didn't pick those notes in between those chords like we did. They just hit the chords basically. I don't know how we did it, but anyway.
Yeah. It seems like that's like a big theme, there's kind of like some kind of subconscious impetus that drove you to guys to do this stuff.
Right. It wasn't nothing, I mean, you're gonna laugh, and all the death metal people are gonna go, "No way!" But there's a part of Gutspawn, man. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's Metallica, dude. It's a Metallica riff, and it's not a ripoff, but it is inspired by Metallica, man. Okay, that's what we listened to when we first started playing. That's what I listened to. So that's the way it is. Um, and that's just we were inspired by all the bands we listened to. We meshed it all together. We weren't quite good enough to play perfectly like them, so we made our own sound. Basically, that's basically what I think happened.
Mm. We can see that, on Facebook, you're still listening to a lot of younger bands. You're kind of sharing the stuff that you liked over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I really love supporting. Like I can shoot. Like I got right here. I got.
Ah,
What's that?
Fabricant, the boys, yeah.
Hang on. Somebody made. Hang on a second. All right. I got that stupid thing. Somebody I didn't have no do not disturb. Fabricants.
Yeah,
Fabricant. Oh man, I love this, dude.
fantastic.
And I don't know when it's coming out or anything, and I don't care if he cares. The guitar player has helped me on one song, and probably won't be on the new album because I'm just giving him his time. But he basically took my song and made it his own, man. I mean, I'm amazed by what he can do. He's an improvised king. That lead guitar player Troy, he's amazing. And then I got Void Ceremony, all their stuff. It's
Nice.
wonderful. Garrett, great guy. We're like two alpha musicians. We don't get along. We try to work together. Oh, he's a nice guy. We were going to do something together, but he wanted to make it more death metal, and I wanted to add them weird vocals, and we just didn't get along on that. And I got a Hacks Process; they're pretty good. He actually played some Timeghoul, and that's how I got into him. He did a little cover of a part of a Timeghoul song. I don't remember which one it was. Nucleus, Monotheist is they're actually a Christian band, believe it or not, that loved Timeghoul, but their album Disgorge is, if you don't believe the stuff, that's fine. You can just look at it as fantasy. That album is amazing. I can't wait for their new one to come out. But their name is Monotheist. I really like them. Nucleus. I don't know. There's tons of bands. Blood Incantation, of course. Everybody knows that band.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like bands. Promote them.
That's great because it seems that a lot of guys from your generation, they hear the new stuff and like, my stuff was a million times better.
Well, I don't think my stuff is better, and I don't think I can even come close to playing any kind of a tech death like First Fragment type stuff. I mean, I couldn't even do that. But my opinion is this: I don't hate it, but bands like First Fragment and all those tech death, they're like a shrapnel band to me. Like the bands that come out that used to just like Yngwie Malmsteen or Tony McAlpine, they would play those, crazy leads. It's like, wow, they're amazing. To me, that's not heavy. That's not heavy. It's amazing. It's incredible, but it's just not heavy to me personally. I don't dislike it though. I love to jam on some of that stuff. I'll be like, wow, I can really play the fretless bass. That's amazing. But it doesn't really sound heavy to me personally. But if these kids like it, that's great. That's what. Gojira, I like Gojira. People like to rip on them. I think they're great. I love that band, honestly. Anyway.
If you don't mind me asking, you did send me the kind of one of the demos for the new Grevlar album, right?
Right, I sent you one song.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
song, yeah. And it seems like on this one you're going for a lot more of a kind of melodic approach. There was like few repeating riffs and everything.
Yeah, simpler probably. I don't know. It's got a better production. I'm trying to think of the song I sent you. Okay, I know which one it was. Yeah, that one. It has the doom beginning. It goes into some heavier stuff, and then it does repeat a little bit. But yeah, it's just the way I'm writing now. It's not anything on purpose. It's just what comes out of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, how have you managed to keep this passion for death metal so long?
Well, it's fun. Death metal is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be interesting. And I know how these kids are probably. I appreciate the fact that there's still bands around because there's a lot of stuff in the world now that will distract you. You could be looking at your computer all day. You could be playing video games all day. So these kids are actually getting together, making music in a room somewhere and recording it and putting it out. And I feel like I should, if I can't buy it all, unfortunately, but I can support some of it and I can promote it. And that's mainly why I do it. And I do like listening to it. I like to hear new stuff. I like to hear it. So.
Oh, perfect. I think we've just about done everything. Any final statements from you?
No, I appreciate everybody that's listened to Timeghoul, and all the members do. I mean, a lot of us doing different things right now, but we're all older. I'm the oldest. I'm the elder of Timeghoul, you know. But we, you guys, we appreciate you, and if you make music, keep making music. Don't stop. Enjoy yourself. Even if you start making some kind of different music, it doesn't matter. Just keep playing music. It's fun. And enjoy yourself, live life. Just that's about it, really.
Yeah. I've got one question. This is an important one. Because, Timeghoul came out in a period where, death metal was already very solidified as an art form, but you had your own voice. Like, for you, what is the secret to having your own voice, your own style, your own everything?
One of the main things I can tell you as a musician or artist, I call myself an artist more. As an artist, You know, you can learn a few covers, but man, if you're focusing on cover songs, look, me, I can play this. I can play. You're not going to make your own sound. You're going to end up sounding like everybody else. You have to learn how to play your guitar, learn how to play your instruments, and then take that. What, even if you're not good, you could just know one or two chords or whatever. If you can move them chords around the fretboard in a way that you like, that you think is cool, that's the key. You got to get together. You got to find the right people to make the music and just do what you want to do. That's what you got. You got to feel it, I guess you would say. It almost, as an artist, you start drawing a picture. You just draw the picture, and you just keep drawing the picture as your life goes on, and how your musical life goes, your musical journey. That's the way I would say.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike. For those listening, you can check out the new Grevlar, which drops when?
Oh, sometime this year. I got to redo some vocals, man. I had some health problems. I won't get into it, but I'm better now, so I'm gonna try to redo the vocals, and it should be fun, a fun listen at least. You know,
All right, perfect. Well, thank you very much, Mike.
no problem. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.